Hi, I'm Justin Hall, lead animator on Bloodspell, and welcome to the behind the scenes custom animations bit. While we shot Bloodspell in Neverwinter Nights, the script called for a number of scenes which could not be created with the animations we had in-game. In fact, we had to create some 15 to 20 new animations throughout the filming of Bloodspell for shots like these. So, we thought you might like a little sneak peek at some of these custom animations. We used Gmax, a cut-down version of 3D Studio Max, for the animation with the NWMax plugin so that we could import and export NWN assets. The beauty of NWN in this instance is that every character model, along with the pre-installed animations, had 10 empty custom animation slots, so we were able to assign new actions without having to sacrifice any of the in-game animations. Okay, we'll start off nice and simple with this shot of Carrie dangling from one of the cathedral towers. I say simple only because it's a single character animation. The biggest trick for this was to get her to stay on the tower with no walk mesh below. This was done by physically moving her from her Aurora base, this flat blue box, and positioning her where the edge of the tower would be, while keeping the base on the walk mesh. That done, it was a straightforward case of simply animating the action in place. Right, let's up the level a touch. For this shot of Jared being picked up and thrown through a portal, I had the issue of making two separate models interact. While this was a fairly complex interaction, it was a little simpler by the fact that Jared is unconscious, so I only had to deal with making him fit around the other model's action, rather than animating him moving around or anything. However, NWN won't recognize multiple character animations, so once I had the action right, I had to export each model individually. So, we get the picker-upper, and the picked up and thrown. And by animating them with their Aurora bases locked in the same world center, once the two models were in-game and the animations were fired off, they would interact exactly as they had been animated. Now we've covered the basics of getting around multiple character interaction, we can have a look at my favorite custom shot, the opening fight. I just love the raw brutality of it, Jared's could-care-less attitude. This shot was more complicated, not just for the number of characters, but for the very specific contact and interaction between them. Often I would go through the actions myself, acting out the movements in the privacy of my own studio. In this case, however, I needed some better views. Cue Hugh and Johnny. Obviously, Hugh, being director, gets to be Jared, and poor Johnny just gets beaten up. Anyway, back in Gmax, I had to interpret those shots onto the models. Again, these all needed separating out before we could put them into NWN, so we get Mace Guy, Sword Guy, Jared. And finally, let's quickly break down the biggest custom of the film, the end fight, or the master beats everyone down with a stick shot. Again, all the Aurora bases were locked at the world center, and the models were relocated as necessary and animated together. Then they were broken down into individuals. Ariane, Gad, Jared, and finally the Master. I didn't need to do anything for Carrie, as she just stands around watching mostly. So, just before we go then, here's a quick look through some of the custom animations in the film, in case you missed them.